We've bottled.
We've got a thing about wine.
And we want you to have a thing about wine too.
And this week we're going back to port.
Yes, because we hardly think about port for the rest of the year apart from around Christmas, do we?
Yeah. And then at Christmas you buy some random bottle of Ruby, stick it in the cupboard, and on Christmas Day you get it out for the Stilton.
But there's so many other styles out there. I mean, you've got everything from, you know, tawny to vintage to single quinta, and there's even white port to consider.
Yeah, and then there's all the different ways of serving it and the different occasions. You know, Christmas Day with Stilton is not the only way.
No, and it makes a really good Christmas present option too.
It does, absolutely. And our first port is a white one. We've got Quinta de la Rosa, white port. It's $14.99 in the Oxford Wine Company. And it's the most beautiful golden colour.
It is, isn't it? Now it's classed as extra dry, but we will, when we taste it, find that there is some sweetness in there. Now Quinta is the equivalent of an estate in Portugal, so a bit like in France you get chateau, yeah. Now this is going to be a perfect aperitif.
Yeah.
Got to chill it.
Chilled, definitely.
Definitely. Yeah. And
that is so spicy. It just smells Christmassy, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Really
I mean,
lovely.
I am such a fan of white port. I just think there's not enough of it around. It's really quite hard to come by.
It's almost herbal. It's spicy, very tasty. It's obviously got the alcohol. It's 20%.
Much lighter than having a spirit.
Yeah, and you could put ice with it.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, yeah, that would as a nice summer drink.
Yeah, or you can add tonic, and we've got some tonic to show you.
Because surprise people. Don't give them a gin and tonic. Give them one of these.
Yeah, and because it's 20%, it's half the alcohol of gin. So
yeah, let's try that there.
Should we share? Or do you want to?
Yeah, we can share.
Let's share.
It's Christmas after all.
That is delicious. That is delicious.
I love this.
The bitter of the tonic with slightly sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, you could leave a little glass of white port for Father Christmas instead of sherry, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could. But how middle class would that be? Right, we're heading to Marks and Spencer now for a 10-year-old tawny port. And it's $14.99 a bottle. And totally different colour to the last one.
Very pale colour. Tawny port is aged in oak casks, so the colour and the sediment drops out in the cask. So when it's bottled, it's ready for drinking. It doesn't get any better. It's, I think, my favourite style of port. And unfortunately, it rarely smells good.
Yeah, there's not a lot really kind of coming out on the nose. It's not an attractive
It's a bit woody,
smell, is it?
It's not. It doesn't. Yeah, no, but the taste, I know. Oh,
that makes up for it.
It's chocolatey. It's smooth. It's elegant, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not. There's no clunky tannin. It's very smooth and.
And this is one to chill. This is really good served chilled.
Absolutely.
And not just as a drink on its own. I mean, this goes with just about every cheese going.
Yeah.
Perfect accompaniment.
We had it on a picnic. I went to stay with the Taylor's people, their winemaker makes this, and they gave us not this wine, but the Taylor's 10-year-old tawny, chilled for our picnic on the way home. They put us on a train with a bottle of this and some gorgeous little empanada type things all foiled up and warm, and it's very good with picnics.
And actually we think tawny is becoming quite trendy, so remember, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
Go and try a bottle. Right, we've got Waitroses in Partnership late bottle vintage port for you next. It's the 2006 and it's $9.99 a bottle.
And this LBV style is very descriptive. It's a vintage port that's been bottled late, which means that a lot of the tannin and the sludge is out of the wine. It's settled, and so you don't have to do anything with this. You don't have to decant it.
Now this has got much more on the nose than the Tawny did. It's got that sort of rich, ripe, red, dark fruit.
Brambly, spicy, very Christmassy smell.
Yeah, it feels like Christmas time.
That's lovely.
And again on the palate, isn't it?
It's very sweet. Rich.
Very smooth though.
Absolutely. None of that sort of rasping tannin that you can get from.
Now these dark traditional ports, they just remind me about all these snobby port rules that surround
drive you
port.
mad.
You know, all these like dinners. I mean, I've been to an army dinner where, I mean, there were 3 toasts and you have to pass the port along and then you're up and down toasting somebody.
And people are so up themselves about it, aren't they?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you pass it along.
Yeah. And actually, there's the thing, isn't there, about if you don't pass it, and it's just sitting there and somebody's waiting to drink the next bit, you have to say to the person, are you the Bishop of Norwich?
Oh yeah.
Because the Bishop of Norwich was renowned for never passing the port along. Wow. So it's kind of like it's a polite way of saying you're holding the bottle far too long at your place.
There's a lot of people do that, aren't there?
Yeah. So I'm going to pass it on to Mel, so I can't be accused of being Bishop of Norwich.
And just put it down and pick it up and put it down. This, to me, is absolutely calling out for a mince pie.
Yes, it is. And we've got some fantastic ones here, actually. If you're not going to be home making them, which normally I do, these are Hestons from Waitrose. And they've got pine sugar dusting on top. So you've got your Christmas smelling port and you've got your Christmas smelling mince pie.
It smells of pine.
It does, doesn't it? But it tastes.
See how much mess I can make. Oh, Heston.
Isn't that good?
Oh, that's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Yum. Late bottle vintage.
Right, for our last port, we have got the Quinta de Vargelas 2001. It's available from Waitrose at $28.99 and Fortnum & Mason at $32.50. Now this is a single Quinta port.
Yes, now the port houses, they declare a vintage when there's a good vintage, and usually it's only 3 or 4 vintages every decade, and they declare the vintage, which means they think it's good. In the other vintages, they traditionally make a single Quinta. So it's a vintage port, but it's in a not great year. And what happens is it's cheaper, so it's more affordable. This is 10 years old. It would be a lot more money if it was a vintage port and it was 10 years old and so ready for drinking.
Well, this certainly smells like it's ready for drinking. It's got a really deep, warm, dark, spicy nose.
It's not so fruity though, is it? It's just sort of spicy.
Yeah, really spicy. Again, that sort of Christmassy kind of feel to it.
That's lovely. That is smooth. That is smooth, isn't it? It hasn't got that clunky tannin that the young ones can have.
No, it's so ready to drink now, isn't it? Which a vintage at this time wouldn't be.
And this, unlike the other ones we've tried, will get better and better. You know, it will age and get paler and smoother and more elegant and with more interesting flavours.
Yeah. Well, you could sit for ages with this around your roaring fire at the end of the day. Yeah. Relaxed, heat of the room, nice glass of this.
A bit of mince pie.
Yeah, they would go quite nicely too, wouldn't they?
So don't think of porters passé, just pass it.
And enjoy it with one of these mince pies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See you next week.
See you next week.